Okay, we have just concluded 2.5-ish days of training with two dudes. We have trained them in the McCloy Implement methodology of training. We've used concepts from Jacob's YSS drills, and we have done this unlike anyone trains people in firearms. We have done this with zero safety malfunctions. We have had no muzzle sweeps. We have had no hot weapons pointed up range. We have had no one in danger at any point. We took two shooters who knew virtually nothing about firearms, had fired each probably less than 50 rounds. In one of their cases, probably less than that, and brought them to a place where they're functionally working corners, taking sub 0.8 second 10-yard headshots from the low ready. And they're not ultra comfortable with firearms. They haven't had enough time, but they have a foundation with which they can build on. They can functionally protect themselves and their families in the real world. And should the worst happen, which, I mean, we hope that it doesn't, but they could do what needed to be done to protect themselves and their families. And I think it's great. It's great that someone can go from zero to functional in 2 days if they learn right. And I think we've deliberately broken training down into two phases. We have the safety phase, which Jacob does dry. And he's doing dry fire, he's teaching safety manipulation, he's teaching muzzle direction. It's not on a hot range with somebody yelling at the shooter. It's in a comfortable environment with an actual weapon, but a dry weapon with a chamber flag, or even better yet, a barrel plug in it. And they learn a lot that way. They're not getting yelled at. They can focus their mental and emotional energy on learning. They're not trying to react or, try to not kill somebody or not get cussed out. They're learning. And from there, we go on to the range. Jacob continues that same methodology. We're working from the premise that you can learn more when you're relaxed. And so even if I'm handling a firearm, which is a dangerous tool if used incorrectly, we're allowing the shooter to learn in a relaxed manner. And we're doing it very quickly compared to a standard American model. We're doing that on purpose. And what, these guys work in corners, taking timed headshots, shooting on the move, things that we establish the foundation of. In a normal shooting curriculum, that might be multiple classes or multiple months down the road for a new shooter. And he's expected to commit vast amounts of time and money to get to that point of functionality. And it's tangibly, it's not true that you need that. You need to be able to learn safely. You need to be able to learn in a relaxed manner, but it can be done quickly in the right setting, and we aim to provide that. Jacob, what do you think?
No, I 100% agree with everything you said. I would also like to further expound on that by, I think a lot of also the American training methodology is everybody has their way to hold the rifle, and they sort of inflict and impose their opinion on how to hold the rifle with certain fundamentals, and they preach that as the gospel truth instead of just letting the shooter naturally shoot how he wants to. After establishing kind of the basic safety procedures of just to make sure everyone was safe, I didn't really say anything at all. There were a couple things that I said as far as handling recoil, which is just leaning forward into the gun a little bit more in order to handle the recoil a little bit better. But other than that, we basically just turned them loose. Once they were safe, we turned them loose and let them shoot. And they were fast, they were accurate, and they shot better than, a ton of people I've seen that have thousands and thousands of dollars of training into it and many, many more hours. These guys are just guys. They're guys that work 9 to 5s that have a desire to shoot more and use an AR-15 as a tool, and they're just dudes. They're guys like you and me. And so I think it's a very blatant example and testament to everybody can do this. Anybody and everybody can do this. Once you're safe, you can do it. You're a dad, you want to protect your family, you never touched a firearm in your life, you can do it. I mean, Jacob, what was he, blue shirt Jacob? He has zero experience. Like, he's from California, zero experience. He's a pretty good shooter now. He has the basis to become a very good shooter. Right now, he's a solid shooter who's getting more familiar.
Yeah, I mean, this may step on some toes, but I mean, he's more functional with a carbine than probably 80 to 90% of law enforcement.
100%.
I mean, 100%. And that's like, whether you like it or not, that's reality.
Like taking situational context and all that kind of stuff out of it, just
right.
As a shooter.
As a shooter, right, 100%. Yeah, that's...
As a shooter. You put a cop on this, and put blue shirt Jacob on this, blue shirt Jacob's gonna beat him 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And that's not trying to inflate anything, that's just a fact.
And so if you want to wax philosophical here, America has been a country of riflemen since its inception. The first battle of the American Revolution was fought over rifles. And in the exploration of the West, and Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett and Jedediah Smith and all these dudes, the American dream has been worked out and realized throughout history, sometimes with a rifle. And these were not dudes that went to hundreds of cool classes. These were dudes who learned how to use a rifle as a tool and then used it. They learned it from their dads, they learned it from their cousins, they learned it from uncles, they learned it themselves, whatever. And they made it work. And you can look at the annals of American history. You can look at Frank Hammer. Like, these dudes got good, and they figured it out on their own. And in a sense, what we're doing, I mean, we're teaching with that frame of reference. We're saying, you can do this on your own. You're a dude, you can figure it out. I mean, we're offering some guidance. I would say it's more coaching than firearms training, but either way, you know, we're helping a dude get going. I mean, not everybody had a dad that taught them that. I didn't. And that's fine, like you can, but this is the way to learn. The modern American methodology of lining up in a row and getting cussed out for not being safe because you did something you didn't know you weren't supposed to do is not an effective way to learn. It's a way to join a fraternity of insecure people who are trying to hide their insecurity by showing off a tactic. And again, that may offend some people, but that's what it is. But it's not a way to learn to defend yourself with a firearm.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I concur with everything you said. I mean, I think that's a great way to put it. I don't think Daniel Boone took firearms training with a smoothbore musket. He just figured it out. So I think that's a great point.
So this is American firearms training. It works, it's fun, and we like it.
It's hard to deny the results of today. It's very hard to deny them. You can't.
Okay.
Everybody knows it.
Good stuff, let's go.